Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 54 of The Treat Show. Happy Easter. It is very exciting to see you guys in the chat, and I want to know what you did for Easter because we're just getting back from all of our adventures today, and my family does something that my dad has done forever, and no matter how old we get or how many kids are involved or not, does not matter, is we have a golden egg in our household. Okay. They used to add the other eggs with the golden egg and like put candy and all this stuff until like last year. And this year it was just one solo egg. But the good part is it always has like a couple $100 in it. So everybody gets pretty rowdy. I do have brothers. And I don't know, Jason got to experience that today. We did not win the egg. But he found where the egg was hidden. I feel like we got gypped. Got gypped by a 16-year-old. I guess it's for the better. Just kidding. So yeah, what are your guys' like family things? Because I think it's funny that my parents still do this and we're all like pretty old now. And they're pretty dedicated about it. So we just forgot our Easter baskets. We got some pie today. That was very delicious. I feel like even though I'm not an ambitious person and never work out, I'm starting to think I should start after today. Anyways, what are you guys snacking on? Fel Bundy, so nice to see you. Thank you so much. Mr. Leal, my family ignores it. Oh my goodness. Well, my family doesn't really do like the like food thing anymore, like the full-blown food thing. Like we just had bratwurst. And so it's like weird. I think it's just our excuse to like get together. I don't know. Also, a random note is I know I posted this on my Instagram, but my grandma, like 10 years ago, she passed away. And it's just weird because she was like a super, super like Christian lady. And she was not into weed. Like I was scared to tell her what I did for a living. And I didn't tell her for like years. And then it was just... So this religion thing, she kept saying that she was going to pass in the resurrection, like for reals, like straight up, and like was very, very adamant about this and was like, it's going to happen in my lifetime, all these things. And she ended up passing on Easter of 420 10 years ago. And so I don't know, every time this time of year is like my grandma actually like raised us for a good chunk of time and like helped my family a lot. And she was somebody I talked to every day. And we were just super, super tight. So I don't know, to anybody out there that has like your loved ones that are here or not here anymore, like sometimes it's nice around the holidays to like just take a minute and like remember all these special people that we have. I know Boomers is in there. I know she knows what I'm talking about. Anyways, Gerhard, it's so lovely to see you too. Mr. Leal, I see that you changed your picture too. She used to have a bird named Moses that looked just like that. I feel like, but it is really cool. I will say, your photo's nice. Chad Westport, it's lovely to see you. Do you have Easter colas? Okay, so this is actually really a special treat. Is this African haze? This is actually not our weed. But we did give the person the cut, and he just harvested. He does a really nice job. I'll have Jason say his name or something. I don't know if he's like cool with it. Maybe he is. I guess his name is pretty general. Well, this is Jeff Swede. Okay. So I don't know if you guys can see. I like it a lot. It's like very hazy. Like if you're not into hazes, this would not be your jam because it has that real terpene, like sweet kind of profile to me. It's never been like gassy to me, like the way that some people will describe some of those hazes. It's just like, I don't know, like sweet, but not like cake sweet, not like purple sweet, like just something that's like almost like a refreshing floral. I don't know. I love this weed though because for breakfast it is fantastic. If you have to like go out and socialize and you still need something to smoke, I feel like this is a good one. It also finishes earlier, I think, for a haze than most hazes. If you're really like into them but you don't have the like 15 14 plus weeks or whatever, this is a good one. Not the desert weed that is Gerhard. Mr. Leal, sorry. No, fuck tons of rabbits here to dip in chocolate. Oh, I love it. Big Farm, so nice to see you as well. Oh, Jesus, it's Easter. I know it is really crazy, though. It's crazy to think how fast this year is going. I was like, I can't believe 420 is like right around the corner. Like, dang it. But, anyways, are you guys prepping for that? Is anybody buying seeds? I talked to Scott from Rare Dignus and about that drop, and he said he's going to send me the drop. And so that he's like releasing, but they haven't had like a finalized release date. So look for that coming up though, because I'm very excited about good old Rare Dignus drop. Everybody needs to get in on that. Also, Guy Forget or I'm so sorry. Hold on. The Demon Ship Seeds. I apologize. He switched up his names on me. But he is still continuing. He has a little bit left on this drop. There's not that many seeds left, so I think that before they run out, you should try him. He's a great, great grower out of Boulder. And I feel like he's just somebody that's crushed for like a lot of companies behind the scenes. And I don't think got like proper acknowledgement to some degree. And yeah, I think you guys would be impressed if you give it a go. So Tark, oh my goodness. Happy Easter to you and your family. I hope you guys had a really nice day. So today, sorry, I got weed in my mouth again. Today is I was thinking about just doing a couple of things with like the plants and the clones like we talked about. Nothing crazy though, so don't get too excited because it's just a little trick. Is I have a good friend and client that brought up something from our past shows, and he was like asking me questions about hardening off. And he was like, I assume this means with clones and like getting them to adapt to the climate, but he's like, I want to double check. So when he said that, I was like, man, so this is something that I just want to touch on is whenever I do refer to hardening off it is exactly that, is those that have cloned in domes or like controlled environments like that are really tight climate controls. I think that there's some challenges to it when it comes to getting the clones out of the dome into your room healthy and like where they don't die and nothing's kind of jeopardized. I don't know if you guys have ran into like seeing like the leaves like start folding up and like crinkling when you pull off the domes to these. So I just wanted to talk about a couple little tricks that I have for hardening off and really explain a little bit better what hardening off actually was. So we'll do that with these clones. I'll show you my actual trick. And I have a couple plants. So unfortunately, because I didn't follow back up with this, is these are a couple of the transplants. And because they're green plants on a green screen, we'll see how this goes. But yeah, it's just to touch in on that a little bit. And then next time we'll take the clones and do this a little bit more organized. Sorry that I keep doing this to you guys. Let's check out. Okay. Rosin Dogs. So nice to see you. I hope you and Mrs. Rosin Dogs are having a fantastic Easter too. Did you guys get any good snacks today? I need to hear about everybody's treats. It's like my favorite thing in life. Let's see. I'm gonna scroll up. Sorry, I gotta move this bad boy around. Yeah, I was thinking, does anybody ever burn Palo Santo? Okay, or sage. Because I'm like a firm lover. Joffrey, it's so good to see you. Happy Easter. Pied Piper, Stutter. Oh, so good to see you guys. You guys are my fam. Fel Bundy. I just really appreciate you all. Chad Westport. Tark. Yeah, you guys are, squad's all here. So, I don't know why, but tonight it would not let me stream on Future Cannabis Project. So I'm so sorry. It's not that I'm rejected. I think that I might have gotten in trouble on one of my videos, or I don't know, but it wouldn't let me go live tonight. So we'll be back up there. I'm going to post this show after, so there's a little bit of a delay. Okay? My apologies, and I would like to send love to the Future Cannabis Project, and I hope I'm not missing you here. So, okay. And those watching on Twitch, I need to find a Twitch person because I am not good at Twitch and I am not good at Discord. And honestly, I really am not in love with social media. So if you guys know any social media people out there, though, that would run my Twitch and Discord, it's not that I don't want to be like involved at all. It's just this would be really helpful. So if you have anybody that's looking for a job like that, you just let me know. And it would be helpful if they liked weed, of course. So, Chad Westport, my wife burns both. J-Lo, that is what's up. I love that you guys have your like smoker wives. Honestly, I bet they're smoking hot too. I think I don't know. Any woman that is like the right hand woman to their man that does this, I know that you're out there watering the plants, helping through and through. And I just want to send you love too. And I'm glad, Chad Westport, that you have your partner in crime. I love it. Oh, I'm just reading the chat and it's pretty funny tonight. Yeah, I feel Peter. We gotta send love to Peter too. Future Cannabis Project. Let's see. It's Westport 420 for Spartier Farmer and Westport for AC Infinity, Mr. Leal. Camel bars from my aunt. Or caramel. Sorry, they're camel bars. Caramel bars. Sorry, Gerhardt. That sounds delicious. Delicious. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Well, damn right. My wife is keeping the whole damn family alive. I love that Tark. The silent one. So cool. It really is. Like, sometimes I want to interview, like, all of these guys with their wives because it's weird because, like, the wives, I think, like, have different careers most times or, like, they're busy with the family and, like, all of these other things that I think sometimes they go unnoticed as, like, some of the probably the most phenomenal growers in, like, I don't know. It's just like a weird thing to think about of like how many people behind the scenes are like helping with all these pieces that are huge. And I think like balancing a family, like taking care of your man. I don't know. I love it. I love that you guys are in relationships and like just killing it together. It's good inspiration, keeps us all happy. Especially in today's world, I feel like it's actually refreshing when you see just love. You just see it. What do you guys think? Okay, so let me try to show you this. Okay, why I smoke a blunt. I might have to put this down at one point. And I've also been noticing from checking in with you guys that like now everybody's doubting my blunt smoking capabilities, but I will say between, I don't know why, but sometimes when I try to roll a backwood like super fast before the show, I won't get it wet. And every time that you roll a backwood without getting the outside wet, you're just going to regret it. It's going to crack. It's going to have air holes. It's going to have something. That's one thing. Okay, that's one thing I'm trying to work on. So I might roll a swisher this show. Also, sometimes I forget what I'm saying and I have to slow down. So, yeah. Those guys, but if you ever chief with me in real life, I feel like I want you to know that I actually inhale. Okay, let's start there. And that I can smoke a whole blunt consistently. All right. Just saying. I felt a little great shame lately. So this is like a little fuzzy. I'm sorry. We'll move her back a little bit. And of course, it like makes the leaves look extremely shitty. So okay, this is the strain, the Jack Herrera, that we took the clones of. I'm sorry that I had to transplant them. Damn it. See, this is why I'm going to have to do this differently, okay? This is why I'm going to have to this might have to be pre-recorded, guys. Sorry. But let me see if I move her down a little bit so you can, nope. Just way worse. Just way worse. Let's go up. Okay. Well, maybe we'll try, maybe we won't. But this Jack Herrera was hurting pretty bad. So I took one of the clones that we had cut originally, and I transplanted it into here. I want to be able to show you, like, a way better, like, hold on. Still nothing. A way better view of, like, the block. This one got sunk. And so, let me see. If I put down the blunt, okay? I'm going to get cocoa everywhere. But I want you to see, this is a 2-inch block, actually. So these ones don't fit in the pre-made holes, but you can get a slightly bigger hole saw and little circular thing. Like say, because this is a 2-inch block, so if you get the 2.5-inch and you attach it to your drill and you drill out the center of the Rockwell block after you get it wet, it will work fantastic for you. But if you do the 1.5-inch blocks, it will actually fit into like if you're up potting into like a 4-inch cube or something like that. But I did this one directly because I know I'm not going to keep this plant and I know I'm not going to flower it, and that we are just cloning out of these problems. So I did this one in a 2-inch block because your base of your plant will still get bigger. It takes longer to root, but it kind of helps your plant, I think, as far as like resilience to like other pests and things like that. So you can see, I wish I had the like before. I'll try to get it together. But these, this guy, this lady here, damn it, this is just going to drive me crazy. I promise I'll post better pictures or just redo this completely. But these are finally stretching out. Before, when we took the clones, like everything was really, really tight together as far as internodal spacing. So like when we see the base of this plant, we can see all these notches here. This is like not good. We've talked about this a couple different times, but this is something to look out for in your plants. Is when we talk about symptoms of like HLVD or Fusarium, anything that you should be kind of like keeping your eye on. I'm not saying you have to necessarily kill her tomorrow, but keep your eye on it, because this is where this parasite is choosing to live. We've talked about this, like I said, a couple different times, but this plant has it pretty distinctive, so I'm going to try to use it. Let's see, this notch right here. Okay, right where my finger is, I'm going to move my finger. I'm going to try to get it positioned better. Is like, see how tight from... Sorry, guys. Okay, so from here to here, this is a very tight internodal spacing, okay? It doesn't even, you wouldn't even think, if you were here, you would see it a lot bolder. But when you start seeing this type of growth right off the stalk here, that's where this parasite is living. So you're not going to be able to see it at like a spider mite, or even like when you think small, like a russet mite, you're not going to be able to see this period from the outside of the plant, even with a nice microscope. But from the inside, if you had a really nice microscope, and I'm not talking, like I'm talking over 1,000x, is you could splice this and you could see these little tiny worms. And the thing is they're so tiny and it takes so long for them to actually develop into like a family large enough to stunt your plant completely. Is your lights are going to keep your plant growing and stretching out of them before they can populate enough to keep causing this tight growth. Here is actually because their families accumulated. So every time that the plant starts stretching out more and more between nodes, that's when it's actually outgrowing this parasite. But the problem is because our plants drink from the bottom up, is everything that pulls from this bottom is going to eventually get pulled to the top. So your numbers of this accumulation of this parasite are going to be a lot lower at the top of the plant. That's why taking this new growth from the top of the plant is so progressive and important to this process. But anything below here, you really want to avoid. Like, not only does it not look good, but it still has that parasite living in there. And when you have a parasite, it's going to always, always, always make you susceptible to things like HLVD or Fusarium, just because it's giving it its perfect combination to thrive. So anyways, you can see where it's all tight. Like I said, all this notching, it almost looks like a skeleton's hand or something on the bottom. Not pretty. As you can see, you really start to stretch out here though, where, let me see, the notches are actually going further and further apart. So when you get back into like the center of the plant, you can see they start to get tighter on the lateral growth. So it's the same game as you're trying to get the space between the lateral growth to be your new clone versus taking something like on the bottom here. See how tight these are together? You probably can't. This is gonna piss me off. Sorry, guys. Let me try to find a better one for an example. Okay, so this one here. She's trying to stretch out, of course. Let's go lower. Okay, she's trying to stretch out. You can't see shit. I know this is like a mystery game now. But she's really trying to push through it, but she's not quite there. So the leaves at the top of the plant will actually stay tighter together as well. You can see that there's still 5 there. So when I cut this clone and it was extremely sick, there was only 3 leaves consistently through the plant. So when we say that we can't restore genetics, you most definitely can. Is if, say, they get diluted in a lot of people's terms over time, is like this is a good way to get them back to optimal health. So just because we're making progress with the leaves going back, is it's still way too tight together. Like usually healthy plants, depending on the strains, I know this can vary, but they'll really fan out, like really wide when they're healthy. And it actually is that the uptake, like I said, from the base of the plant is being able to be pulled equally throughout every single branch, every single leaf. So it's like a weird thing to think about, but every time that this gets interrupted, the rest of the plant is stressing, trying to pull, let's just say the nutrients throughout. Is you're going to have spots of the plant that actually are going to hold on to different nutrients, and other parts of the plant that are going to feed normal, like where it's supposed to be eating. But every time you have this parasite, or every time you have this notch or this dudding in the plant, is like you figure that's like days of growth. If you really wanted to get specific about this, you could break it down literally by days. And once you start getting stunting within like 3 or 4 days, and this plant is going to start rejecting different things moving forward forever, is like that's where you'll get variance in like this side of the plant being healthier than the other, or these tops may all not be potential tops. Is like if I see something like this, it's still on the top of the plant, but look at how close together. You probably once again can't see it, sorry, but there's probably like not even a centimeter between the actual split where the node is going to split off into the bud site. Is those are just things that we're looking for, almost like a clean straw. No notching. I know this is such a shitty description and picture. I'm sorry about that. So let's try doing it with another fucked up plant. So this one is papaya. This cut is from 1997. So I am excited to say that I would say that we were one of the very few people that actually had this cut in the beginning in Colorado. It's made its way around circuit now, and a lot of people have the cut. I still charge a lot for her because I love her so much and because she really is exceptional. But this plant here has HLVD. So I think the reason I really want to show you this is because when you see symptoms in your garden of like, again, these bases of your plant say a lot. Like this like weird shaping and like how this is almost going to break now. You can see, I wish you could see, is there's actually, damn it, I can't show you this one, I'm sorry. But there's like a really defined small notch again in this base branch. And you can see where she's awkward. Like if I cut this off, obviously it would look a little bit better. But it doesn't fix the problem. And so it may like appear nicer or something like that. You could go through and thin out all of these. It does help. Again, with that parasite. But there's not a lot of pesticides that will actually treat for this specifically. And HLVD is a whole different thing. There's not a lot of tools that you have, except this is a system I have found successful. So I think this one, even though she has HLVD, this plant would still flower a lot better than that Jack Herrera that you see. Because the Jack Herrera has Fusarium and HLVD. This one just has good old HLVD. So you still see the spacing in the growth. You still see that the branches are still getting thicker. But this is still a really scrawny plant. Like, she's pretty weak, right? Like, you can see it like, meh. But on our new growth, she's starting to really fan out. Once again, crap. But, okay, I just give up on this little mission. But, yeah, do you see? A little bit wider. Granted, she's got a distinctive look again to the strain. But this, I just wish I could show you. I wanted to show you all these little details. But we'll just come back to this another time. It'll be worth it. It will be worth it. I'm going to roll a blunt in a second. But let's do this. Why? Before I roll this. Okay. So I'm going to show you this clone dome. And I haven't cheated. There's going to be like probably a couple of shit clones in here. So, whoop. Okie dokie. Okay, obviously don't think that these plants are this color. Okay, so this is like a standard dome. I like the Hydro Farm ones. I'm pretty sure they own everything anyways, even if you didn't like them. So these are the quad thick trays. They actually are thick. It makes it where if you're using 2-inch blocks, or if you're using 1.5-inch blocks, or even slabs where there's a lot of weight still going in here when they're fully fed, the quad thicks are way better than like the flimsy shit that you get commonly. And it's literally around like, it's $1, maybe $2 difference in price. So I would definitely ask for the quad thick ones. Also, a little trick that nobody does that everybody should do is if you drill a hole or even stab a hole with your scissors in the corner of the tray here, it can save your life. Instead of having to use the inserts to keep your clones like not fully saturated, is you can water them regular, and then if you drill this little hole, is you can just tilt them without all your clones falling over and drain them into a 5-gallon bucket. It really makes your life a lot better, especially if you have like a shit ton of domes or something going on. So I'm going to take this bad boy off so you can see the humidity in the dome. And honestly, because I moved them before they came in here, they were way more foggy and way more humid than even what you see. And so the thing with this that's weird is, but I see a lot of people make this mistake, is you have to turn off all of your fans, all of your AC, all of any air movement for reals. And you can't have the temperature, like in Colorado right now, it's a little chilly willy. So sometimes people will like leave open a door or something, or come in really fast, or even like walking by. This sounds ridiculous, but like they're very sensitive when you take them out of the dome. So you really want to be in a climate that, like, let's just say this is probably this is going to be warm, right? This is probably like 90 degrees with the clone lights over it, even with LEDs, and it's probably pushing 100%, obviously, humidity. So there's nothing in my space like this. But if you pull them out in, say, 76 to 80 degrees, 82, if you're really like giving them a spoiled moment, is they're going to do better warmer than cooler. And like I said, no fans. So these came under, like, I use the Lux LED lights, the clone strips. The same client and I were going over different clone strips today. So these are actually the 18 watt. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. What we saw was they go up to 36. So I used 2 bars on my rack and like kind of like equally spread out. I don't know if this matters to you guys, but that has served me really well. So when I take them out from here, I'm going to still put them back under that clone rack once I get them to adjust to this. So I want to show you something before I take off the dome, actually, is I just have a normal water bottle, right? This has like measurements on the side. This doesn't matter. You don't need to be that sensitive about this, but I think it's always good to have measurements on shit just in case you should. So I have a 2,000 milliliter pitcher of water. Okay, we're going to put this right here. And I have my little measuring cup right here. And I'm going to take out, honestly, this company does great products with particular things. I won't buy all a can of shit, but I feel like particular things are really worth it. So their Rhizotonic, Canna's Rhizotonic. This is the shit. Okay. Ugh. Just got a lot of stuff going on. Okay. So the Rhizotonic, I'm not going to read about this right now. I will another day. But kind of expensive, honestly. I like to use it as a foliar instead of the way that they... Okay, always follow the label. Let me add that. But you can use this as a foliar or you can use this in a reservoir. So to save money, and honestly, I don't need it because I like my salt line. I think it covers me. Is you can do this as a foliar feed, like in veg or early flower. And I think it works awesome. It's just more stimulating for like root growth and things like that. So obviously flower is not going to really like benefit you. But sometimes, I'm not going to lie, I like to use it in the first week. Gives them a nice little pick-me-up. So anyways, I'm going to take the Rhizo. I'm pretty sure that they call for, don't quote me on this, like I said, read the label. Pretty sure they call for 5 to 10 mils per gallon. So it's like barely anything. So I'm going to take this, and instead of even, these are really forgiving products to a certain degree, unless you're like using it every single day this way. But if you're only going to use it, this little trick is very forgiving. So don't like be too hard on yourself or scared of this. So I'm going to take it, and This cup only measures to 50 mils on the bottom, and I'm not going to even come close to that. So I'm just going to splash a little in here. This stuff smells like shit. That's how you know it works. It's on me. It's on me. Just kidding. So, okay. I'm going to take this, and at first, I'm just going to add barely a little. Get the bottom, just not even to the full lip. Okay? And then, I'm going to take my water. Let's cross our fingers. Okay, so I'm going to fill her all the way to the top. This color, you know, we can compare it to some things, but it's pretty light. Compared to the concentrate itself, this is what it looks like. So I don't know if you guys have used Photosynthesis Plus. I like this product the same. I like them both like a lot. Sometimes I'll combine them, but it kind of has the same color. So just hear me out. Is you want this kind of diluted where it's barely got a tint to it. It's not brown. Okay, it's a very, very, very light yellow. So I'm gonna take this, my little squirt bottle, because I filled it from the water or the nutrients on the bottom and the water on top of it. I'm not gonna worry about shaking it up. Let me see really fast before I try to squirt. Okay, it's coming in hot. So I'm gonna take off my dome. So I keep my humidity controllers, or what these bad boys are called, on the top. You can slide it open. It's like this little moon. I like these ones. There's other styles. Okay, these are just easy. So usually on like day 6 of my clones being in here, I'll slowly start to open and close these. And what I mean by that is like on day 6, I'll open both just a quarter of the way or so. Whoop. And you probably can't see that either. But yeah. So day 7, I'll open it to like the half mark. Day 8, I'll open it a little bit more. And like keep going, right? Just feel me out until they're completely open. If you want to make this easier on yourself. So by day 10, day 11, they're fully open. Okay? From the time that you plug them. So then I'm going to take this. This is going to get messy. So I'm going to squirt my clones all the way super heavy, right? I'm going to show you this one in the front. She looks sexy. So I don't know if you see this bad girl. She's nice. So these ones are barely getting going though. This isn't really like blown out, right? This is like barely getting started. So we're going to take off this leaf. She's not pretty. Yeah. All right. So yeah, you can see like they have like the fuzz though. You probably can't see, but they have a nice little fuzz to them. And that's from the humidity being so high in here. It's really good. You'll see that this is another thing that scares people. So the mold on the side of this block here it actually isn't anything you should be concerned with. You see that the top of the cube is completely white and clean. You're going to throw this away when you transplant it. And not only that, this mold is just, if you're really concerned about it, you can use products like Xerotal or Oxyphos or H2O2. There's a couple different options, but it's something that you really shouldn't worry about. The second that these get acclimated, that's going to go away. And it's just mold on paper, honestly, from, again, it being too humid. So I'm going to take this little piece off of these girls, clean them up, get some soggy spots. The reason that they have like these yellowing leaves is like if you pack your clone tray pretty dense, which I do, is they'll get shadow casted, like honestly, where they'll like take over each other's light. And so sometimes you'll run into that and you just take off the leaf, or I just throw them away, honestly. Let's see this one. Yeah. So you can see like soft, barely going. So these you would not transplant, right? We're still going to wait at least a week to put these into anything. And so I'm going to spray them again. Give them a nice little coat. Give them a nice little thing. And then what you can do, and this is just up to you. You don't have to get crazy, but I'll take my Lichibata here. And they drink a lot more than they're ever going to drink when they first get pulled off like this. So I'm going to go through sloppy. I'm going to give my little roots a nice little pick-me-up. We're just going to let her sit here for a second, okay? And this is the weird part, is do not pull your dome off if you have anything else to do. Even going to fill reservoirs or something that's going to take longer than an hour is, you don't want to do this. I need a little rag. Give me 1 second. Sorry. As I say, don't leave your spot, and then I leave your spot. Sorry about that. So anyways, you don't want to leave though, like past like 10 minutes for reals. It's like, maybe you can go to the bathroom, maybe you can go, I wouldn't even go grab a cup of coffee, they're just fragile. So what I've found is like when I spray them with like a foliar, you don't even have to do it with a foliar. You could use water, it helps tremendously to keep the humidity good on the leaves while you're making this transition. So instead of them getting all like wrinkly and crinkly and freaking out for a second, is like, this pretty much makes that all avoided. And you don't have to use rock wool to do this. You can, however you're cloning, this is something that I think could help you. All right, I'm going to smoke now. We're going to smoke. Oh, yes. Thank you. I don't know, guys. I will definitely try to I'll probably end up deleting these freaking videos and making a real one of what we tried to do, because I'm going to have to do this different with the cameras, obviously. But I hope you learned anything from what I just showed, because it's something that I wish somebody would have shown me. Like, I really, really do. Because this is a weird thing about growing, but a lot of people are too scared to talk about, obstacles, but, to sound like they don't, if you don't know every part through and through, then you know nothing, right? It's like this weird thing that I see people act like with growing cannabis, is it's like, no, dude, just because you want to learn tricks or see something else doesn't mean that you have to know less or not know. I don't know how to describe it, but I noticed that people don't like to talk about cloning because everybody's like, I'm a master cloner. And I feel like, I don't know, these clones can be a pain in the ass, I'll tell you what. But rock wool, I have found, is the easiest once you get your system dialed in, compared to anything else I've ever used. Even the easy cloners, I really do appreciate the fact that they are easy to work with, but I just don't like sharing water like that or having heat in a tank with new cuttings. But aside from that, I don't know. You guys tell me. I feel like there's a lot of people that are partial to their cloning tech, though. And whenever I see people that are really partial to how they're cloning, it's because they crush at whatever they're doing. Compared to people that are like, meh, I'll do whatever. It's usually those people either have somebody else cloning for them. It's weird. It's most of the growers that I've worked with in the past is they don't cut their own clones. It's maybe that's not weird, but they never have cut their own clones. So they don't know how to, and they're phenomenal growers and breeders, but it's just never been something that's or they'll buy slabs at a time and not keep moms. I don't know. It's it's a crazy thing to me. I gotta check this out. Oh, yes. Oh, let's see. The aliens are stealing your weed. Gerhardt, that's hilarious. Grow in the mo. It's very nice to see you too. Them dark green leaves, fire. Oh. I wish you guys could really see, the reason I wanted to show you the clones is I was hoping that, they could show off for you now. The lemon tree, this is one that was popular. This cut was so expensive when I got it. It was covered in aphids. It was hilarious. It was from California and it was $5,000. Just completely fucked. And she's finally tested super clean and wonderfully. Also, okay, this is a good one I found. Can you see this little dot on the stem here? Let me show you. Yeah. Okay, right here. Can you see this little ball? Let me try to turn it. This little, it almost looks like a little scab. That made it worse. Okay. Well, that, my friends, is roots, actually. It is nothing bad. So sometimes we'll get scared when we see things like that, but it's actually, it's like almost like hard now instead of like the soft roots that you'll see on like the fuzzy new stuff down here is like, oh, this one's barely getting going. Sorry, guys. But I feel like you can see where she's fanning out. She's got the green. She's got none of that notching shit, right? And I only say this because it's important to look for the papaya. So the sick one that you see, this is clones from her. And see where she's trying to like fan out and see where she's all green and she doesn't have that anymore. Is like, it's weird. Some strains are really responsive, like honestly, quicker than I could ever imagine. Like even if you have other issues going on, there really is some strains that are just, they'll push through it. It's like the second that you give them some tender love and care and like you even start this, like they'll really grow out of it almost in one time that you could test clean. And that's exceptionally rare. It's just, it's a phenomenal thing when you see a plant that's like, I can dominate you. Is, yeah, but like I said, it's not very common. So these most of the time are more like Jack Herrera, where it was like, she's like pissed and she's probably going to take like 3 times to really even think about doing it, you know, running her through flower. But you can see in here though, is like some of the, like contrary to some of the people that I've even had on the show, is like some of these plants in here are sick and some are really clean. And I'm not saying that like, I'm not like I said, they all get tested and they all get checked. But the thing is there's like maybe 3 clones in here that are sick compared to like the 20 other plants. And I haven't seen anything spread. And I'm saying even with testing, I'm not saying you can't do this or you should do this. But if you really bleach out your tray, like on day 5 or 6 of having your clones in anything, is like if you just do bleach solution with like a microfiber rag and squeeze it out and just wipe out your tray and your dome, you'd be so surprised on how much you can keep like your plants sterile even in a shared environment. I'm just saying, if you're in a bind or if you don't want to separate, sometimes it's like a battle because if I can't get 20 clones off of a sick plant, which I can't, is I feel like the when you fill these domes or these trays of clones, is like if you don't put enough clones in there, the humidity won't get high enough that the clones will even start to root right or fast enough. And it's like, so there's this weird balance where you can put too many or you can put not enough. So like when I use the 1.5-inch Rockwool cubes, that's what these are, is these ladies I love because I can fit 32 maxed out in a normal clone tray, which is still quite a bit. But I like to keep 18 to 24. And I think that way none of my leaves get overlapped like that. My humidity doesn't get too high, or the mold on the paper. Sometimes when you condense them too close together, it will get slimy in there. And then that's where you'll start getting shit off. And it's only because it's like actually accumulating with the other plant on the other side of what we're talking about is, yeah, you want to avoid. I guess you want to avoid that. But I'd say, honestly, start with 18. If anybody is looking at cloning new to it, is I would start with 18 in the tray. And I would keep my humidity controllers closed for a little bit longer. I would probably keep them closed for 8 days. And, oh my gosh, I got hair in the microphone. Dark Horse is going to get me. There we go. Is, yeah, I think you'd be really, really happy with the result. Let's see. Oh, Mike Denver, is so lovely to see you. I miss you, Mike Denver. And thank you for the nice compliment. Oh, let's see. It's the green screen. I know, Grow the Mo. It's so shitty. Jason already told me before I started this. He's like, you're going to try to put green on a green screen? And I was like, dude, you know what? Sometimes you just got to say fuck it. And you just, yes, we watch it go disastrous together. We will reevaluate and return. Okay? That's the best that we can do. Joffrey, you're awesome. You're on Twitch. I'm so excited. I need to start getting my Twitch friends. Okay? Can you guys help me get my Twitch on? Oh, Disbanded. Happy Easter. Robert, Mr. Greenfingers. I feel like Good stuff. That's so nice. Buddy, so lovely to see you as well. You guys, I think it's awesome because all my favorite squad, Michelle, so good to see you. I feel like, Michelle, you're just such a gleaming light. Let's see. Parasite. Oh, Guerrero Grows, how have you been? Are you showing off your guns? That's so funny. I feel like my arms honestly used to be like embarrassingly bigger, and now I feel like I'm like, the age is setting in. I don't know, but I feel like, no, it is not feeling hot and spicy right now. You look like you're flexing. That is so funny. If I flexed, you'd be so surprised on how big my arms are for a girl. Okay, I'm not trying to brag right now. I'm saying it's kind of weird. Let's see. Operation Annihilation. You know you have my favorite name out there. J-Lo. Legendaire's disease is what you have been warning people about coming from dirty AC. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for saying that, because I did totally forget and didn't even know how to like honestly like look this up. So I cannot thank you enough for saying that. Seriously. And everybody else should go look that up from Operation Annihilation. Is, okay, how do I say it? Legionnaire's disease. I think that's it. I could really be fucking this up. You guys know that I can't speak in general, but you should really look it up. It's something that scares me honestly now, because I've worked at so many, like, I've worked at a lot of great places, okay? Really beautiful grows. And then I've worked at really, really shitty grows and really places that they didn't make it in business, but they shouldn't have probably even started. So when you look at like how everybody was into the mini split though, that specifically is what scares me. Is every job that I've ever worked at usually has mini splits. And on my first week of work, like I will literally go clean and like use my paint sprayer and stuff to clean them out with like bleach and whatnot. And they will be filthy, like filthy, like super molded, like super everything, like just not good. And the problem with working with cannabis is you're exposed to so many mold, like so much mold, like period. Is like, you guys know water damage all the time. Like it's hard to avoid, it's hard to avoid not having water go wherever you don't want it to go. And I feel like sometimes when we like, I don't want to say neglect, is like, it's easy to be like, okay, I don't know how the fuck to take this thing apart, or you're not going to think to take something apart like that. Like I don't know, but you guys should be really careful, because I think that it's something that needs to be talked about. Because I don't know how long it's been going on, but just not good. Like things like powder mildew, when you get those in your air and then it's pulling through your HVAC system, like even if you like are growing in your house, is like, it's not good. Even if you get rid of the PM, to have those spores like lingering anywhere. And if you're in that situation, dude, bleach is like amazing. And if you seriously buy a paint sprayer, to save some money and just turn it on the lowest setting, you can like literally spray your walls in your house or like things like that and use a microfiber rag to clean it. And it's like, I think it's good. I think it's really good. It's like, otherwise, like, it's funny that I'm like so concerned about this shit because I like smoke and obviously like have my unhealthy like habits. But the truth is that shit scares me more than anything. It's like, just like our air, water, all these things. Like, it's weird that I'll use pesticides in a heartbeat because I'm like using your safety equipment. Like, how long it's staying in the plant. You're testing to see how long the residuals are in the plant. Like, all these different things to make sure that it's a safe product for not only like your consumers, but like your workers, your like just everybody, yourself. It's like, I feel like, I don't know. But when it comes to like this other shit, like air quality is something that like gets neglected, I think. Not neglected, but like our filters sometimes don't get changed out every time they should get changed out, or the AC units don't get cleaned. Like the mini splits, I mean. I don't know. It's just fans. It's another weird thing, but fans again, like they just like regular fans, like oscillating fans, It's just, you gotta be careful with this shit because nobody else was like looking out for like weed growers. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to say it's not an incompetence or like stupid thing. It's just like nobody was like like checking on everybody and being like, hey, this is required for you to clean this every year or something like that. I don't know. But I highly recommend like every round if you can, or every couple months, like really on like a schedule, if you can like go around and like bleach everything it's good. There was a room I showed you guys, I think in one of our videos, is like this room Hobbit. Doesn't matter, but it was like this really small room. And I had like 7,000 clothes that I was keeping in this room and like on the regular, I mean. And the problem is like, it was like in an attic basically. It wasn't, but it like felt like that. And nobody else would work in this space, like period. And I was like, let me make it my little clone Hobbit room. And unfortunately they listened to me. And the water, it's weird because I like remodeled this room and stuff. And what happened though is like after I didn't work there is they like had something happen where I think they were watering plants up there and there was no flooring. So there wasn't like a protective flooring, or like a lot of people will like use like those shower or pond liners at least. It didn't have anything but plywood. So like obviously, but the hose would like leak and like stuff would overflow or whatever. And they ended up having black mold like all the way in their like bottom rooms, all the rooms that, you know, were below this, obviously, they just found out that they were working with black mold for like years in this space. And that shit, that like health wise, no thank you. No thank you. What do you guys think? Carpet. Everybody gets fucked from carpet too. It's like, I'm just saying like a thing to watch out with, like with the mold and stuff. It's really, even if you're like running into these problems, is they have like so many like sterilization things now. Like I'm trying to remember the company that was really popular in the grow world for like 2 years. This is probably 2018, 2019. You guys brainstorm if you're with me. It was like a light purification system. So they were selling it in the industry as something that when people first started failing their testing is they were like, okay, you can put this fan. It's like basically like an intake and an exhaust, seriously, in this small little unit that filtered through over like an LED light or like a sterilization lighting system. I'm not sure exactly the details. I wish I could remember the brand. We'll come back to this one day. But honestly, I didn't think it worked. They were super expensive. It was like $4,000 or $5,000 a unit, and for only like 500 square foot or something like that. And I guess that doesn't sound that bad, but it does. And so we had two in a really small space, like smaller than even that. And we were still failing our testing and stuff like that for like spores in the air. Like, and anyways, we figured this out later. But so I don't know. And because that was like years ago, maybe technology's come pretty far. But I was thinking, I wish that I could design something that was like using all these like cool ass technology, right? Like if you could have a room that got scanned by like, instead of you ever having to spray pesticides and like us running into these problems with like bees and like outdoor use or like leaching even, or people pouring shit down the drain, is like, yeah, totally not an advocate for all this. So I think that if there was a way though that you could literally have the room scan itself and like almost like a little laser or something comes out and like shoots these little bugs or something, or like a light that like shocks everything. It sounds really fucked up, but I think where there was nobody inside, the plants, and if you had this happen all the time, like just like they do like reading your irrigation, you know, and like how your plant's eating. Trollmaster and a lot of other companies now started adapting little sensors like that you can insert into your medium. So if you did the same thing where you like insert this little thing into every plant, and then every like 10 minutes the plant gets scanned and like I don't know, but I think it'd be fucking awesome. And I think it'd be way safer. And you could use it for like big ag and stuff if we came up with like different, I don't know. There's got to be a light. There's got to be same thing for our mediums. Is I was like, I would run soil all day, every day if I could like seriously sterilize my medium. It's like, it's annoying that people say, these are like business shit that I'm like, where we at, guys? There's all these people that want to sterilize their soil or want to sterilize their cocoa or whatever it is. But then you talk to a professional that's like selling the product, or like a scientist that like is supposed to have all this knowledge in something, and nobody has a fucking answer to how to do it. They're like, oh, just take the shit outside and throw it on pavement and put some bags over, or put a tarp over your bags and get it hot as fuck. And you're like, yeah, that works, but then I'm gonna like contaminate the outside of my bag, and then I'm gonna have all these people like go out here and walk through the shit that's dirty to like, and then it's like, okay, then you're supposed to hose it off, but then if you hose it off and then stack them, then it's like you're gonna get mold on the top. Like, I'm just saying, like, it's just like, this shit is ridiculous. Like, there should just be something that's like a nice system that you just, you know, pour the shit in a wheelbarrow or something and it fucking does something no different than like a closed loop machine or all these other things. I don't know. Now I'm just like going on and on. So I'll stop that. I'm just like, where is the technology at with all of this cool shit? We could have so much cooler shit. Everybody wants a pot wash like set up where it's like, everybody's had cool ideas, I know, with that. And it's like, but where the fuck is it? Like, why is this like some like exceptional thing? It's like, it's not. But we hear about all these like huge companies and all these like crazy, I don't know, like Hawthorne. Like that's who comes to mind. And I'm like, guys, I think it's awesome that Hawthorne owns everything. And I know that sounds totally ridiculous, but I'm like, no, it makes like a business accountable barely, but like more accountable with like, and higher expectations to me. Like there's some plus sides to this. It's like, dude, come out with cool shit. Like if you got all the plug on all this and you've got all these marketing teams and you've got all these great people that are, you know, the best of the best of the best. It's like, where the fuck are you guys at on this stuff? Like so far behind. Oh, boom, boom. Happy Easter. Oh, gosh. Photosynthesis plus stinks so good. It's so true. It's like, it is very, very stinky. This really does smell exactly like that. And you know what's weird? It's like, just like you're saying, the worse they smell, the more you trust them. I will say, once upon a time, allegedly, let's just say, I did test like photosynthesis plus, Rhizo, Mammoth P was really popular at the time. Tested them to see like what the fuck is in them. And like you guys are all claiming that there's like billions and millions and everything's bumping over here. But honestly, photosynthesis plus, the Canna Rhizo is those ones, and Canna makes a product, Cannazyme, that I really like, is those three came back beautifully. And like with actual living microbes and all these things. Some of the other products that I tested, I no longer use because they were just complete, like there was nothing living in them and they were claiming a whole bunch of shit. Or like the active ingredient wasn't, there was just a lot of questions and a lot of doubts. I don't know. So Easy Cloner is like group sex. That is hilarious. It's exactly what it's like. Oh, I think... Oh, these are funny. I'm just gonna, yeah, man talk skip. Let's just, but they are awesome. Anybody listening to the show, check this out. Let's see. Gerhardt, it's deadly. That's so funny. Oh yeah, but when you spill that shit on you, that's the thing. It's like every time I have to spray a grow with a foliar, like I swear to God, those are the days that there would be like a business meeting or like something stupid after that you were supposed to be like smelling good at. Let's just say. And then like you come after like wearing a respirator and like my hair's all like, you know, and then you smell like actual ass and you're like, you know, I don't know what to say right now. Is anybody hungry? Oh. Let's see. THC Garage, JLo question. Do you ever try different wrappers of tobacco for better flavor for your different strains? That's such a cool question. Thank you for asking me that. So really quick, actually, is I did get some new blunts from a company that I really want to talk about on the podcast. And I'm so sorry because I was going to bring them on tonight, but I haven't actually rolled one myself. I've smoked it, but I haven't like rolled it myself. And it's not like a traditional backwood. So anyways, I'm sorry, but I'll come back to this brand because it's supposed to be like not bad for you. I'm pretty sure it's hemp is what they claim. Okay, but me with blunts this is weird. Very weird. Is so I feel like banana shit, I do like banana weed. This is all a problem. So like honey banana Swishers makes a honey banana Swisher. And I smoke backwoods and Swishers. I call Swishers my diet blunt because I do smoke a lot of blunts, and sometimes I can't like face a backwood and then like do whatever, but I need like a little pick me up, you know? So this is like my one hitter, I feel like. And so anyways, the honey banana, I don't like to smoke the honey banana with the honey banana, but they have one called Banana Smash. In the Banana Smash, I do smoke with the honey banana or the straw nana or anything like even the chokeberry and stuff like that. Like I love that combination. I really do. And it's weird because I don't like swishers that taste like, I don't like blunt wraps in general that like taste like a lot of flavoring. Like I don't smoke like, I don't know, like those, what are they called? God, it's like those easy roll ones that don't have like the tobacco inside of them. I can't believe I'm fucking forgetting. Whatever. It's like those taste too fake to me. They almost taste like pills or something, like Benadryl pills or like grape flavored, like gross shit like that. Like I don't like stuff like that. But I do like to like try to compliment them the best I can. Or I like to just smoke the silver or the diamond swishers or like the backwoods that are just like sweet aromatic or like the honey is like, I like the ones that either have like really mild flavor, like the banana backwoods. I love those. Obviously, I got a banana thing going on, but it's really subtle of a flavor though. That's why I say that. It's like, it's really subtle. Or I just don't smoke any flavor. It's like, I just don't like it to have anything. And so I can taste the weed better. This is like weird though. It's like, I've been smoking blunts for so long. I need to stop for like a minute at least or slow down. But I feel like it really has been like, let's just say over 10 years easy. And so I think that the problem is like, I don't taste the blunt wraps as much anymore. It's like, I will if it's like, there's this one, Wild Rush, tastes like fucking fruit punch. When you roll it, like when you're rolling it, tastes super bold and like super like flavorful. But when you smoke it, it doesn't taste like anything. That's another one I like. But it's like kind of misleading because it smells so strong. But it's good if you're smoking on the go and you don't want anybody to smell anything. I say good for that, I think. But I don't know. It's like I don't taste the wraps that much though. It's like I really do just taste the weed. Like, and honestly, when people are like, you can't taste good weed in a blunt wrap, I'm like, dude, if I can't taste your fucking weed in my blunt wrap, I don't want to smoke your weed. Like, I don't say that to a lot of people out loud, but I'm like, dude, if I can't taste your weed in this shit, like, I don't want that, you know? So I feel like, yeah, you gotta make them compliment each other. If I was like showing up bougie and in style, all my shit would probably match my blunts and my weed as best as I could. Oh, I get a lot of shit for smoking blunts though. You know, it's good though because nobody ever like smokes with me. Like at like weed events or anything, they're like busy telling me that like I don't know what good weed is or like I smoke shit or something like that, and it just makes it where like I never have to worry where my mouth's been, where their mouths have been. Yeah, it just keeps it all clean, I guess. Let's see. Thank you for that question though. Let's see. Rugburn, Big Farm, that's so cool. I saw Rugburn like a year ago, and I was so freaking excited. I tried to get him to come on the show for sure, like 80 times probably. And it sucks because Rugburn, he's like such a nice guy. Such a nice guy. But like, I feel like Rugburn is like a really private person. Like I'm saying like his personality is very like, because he's not quiet if you like are comfortable or if he's comfortable, but I guess he is just very introverted. I was trying to think of something else, but no, it probably just sums it up. But Rugburn is like a phenomenal cook. Those that do not know, Rugburn, he knows what to do in the kitchen. Okay. I will say that. But yeah, it was cool catching up with him. We got tacos and he showed me this really great taco spot and was telling me about Rare Dankness because he worked there longer than me. And I just thought it was the coolest. Rugburn left shortly after I left, but I think that I don't know, it's like weird because Rugburn's Rugburn and he doesn't really necessarily work in cannabis anymore, or commercial cannabis, sorry. But he seems to be doing really, really well. But yeah, I'll try to stay on it. He's like one of my favorite people to talk to about the grow world, and especially with Rockwool and like cloning and all of these different things, is that Rare Dankness is like, we used to have to take thousands of clones a day, and it was cool. I really want to show you guys the picture of all of us and like show you how small the staff was and really show you like it's I know it sounds like such a dick move when you're like I was one of the first hires there, but the thing is like it was such a blessing to like wait 2.5 years for a job, I guess, but then like to get the job and like be spoiled for like I don't know, it's probably at least 9 months that it was just us working together. So it was this really tight, I don't know. So we all had competed for this like top position, honestly, and we all ended up getting these jobs. And so we all, instead of like having different roles, like eventually when the staff was going to grow, we were all going to have to take care of quadrants as managers and things. But at this point in time, is like everybody had to do everything independently and like really well. And it was so cool to work with people that like all of us were cutting like, you know, a couple thousand clones each a day, and then going into like a really big space and having to defoliate like, let's just say like 1,000 plants in X amount of hours. And you're like moving through these tasks and you have like this expectation and pressure. It was different than any other grow I've ever worked at. Is I think as a consultant, you naturally have a lot of pressure in a weird way. And maybe as a woman, this is weird, but people want you to fail most times, or like they're pissed because you're there in the I don't know. There's like a lot of weird feelings with it. So Rare Dankness was like this chance at working with Rugburn where everybody had already been in the industry for so long and like kind of like proved themselves, like as far as a resume. Like that sounds weird, but actually, and like where somebody, Scott, respected everybody for that, but then like found this weird balance of like pushing us hard as fuck. like I don't know. That's why I respect those people so much. I think it's fucking cool. And even Pamela, like I will say like there's hard challenges, I think, as far as being a woman in the industry and even like bringing in women to like facilities. And like it sounds weird, it really does, but maybe at that time it was like more just rare. Like I was definitely like the first female grower that Scott ever hired to like run things, and I think that was like really complimentary. But then you see this like boss woman that's like the husband to this guy and has been around this her whole life or their whole relationship together, and it's like I don't know. It's a really cool thing to see. Like Pamela's definitely a boss. Like, you know, there's anybody that knows Pamela, you don't fuck with her, you know? It's a cool squad. And I think it's cool that they're still crushing in Spanibus and like doing shit. But yeah, I miss Rugburn. I wish that Rugburn like had his own grow sometimes, or like I don't even know if he'd want that, but I think it'd be really cool. If you have a filter, you can shine UVC on it, but it will destroy the filter. Oh, dang. Blunts, much like papers, you get used to a certain brand, and when you roll with others, something tastes off. Yeah, that's exactly it, J5. That's so cool that you say it so simply and well. I tried warning lights, didn't help. If you were already in there, used a radio that came on at the same time. Let's see. I had all kinds of warnings for my UVB, and I was in there so many times when they came on. I'm fucking this up. Sorry, guys. I shouldn't have read this backwards. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. Let's see. What do you think about Yo-Tips for blunts? Have you ever used it? Yeah, the Yo-Tips. So when I was on the Adam Dunn show, is Yo-Tips sponsored the Adam? And I feel like Yo-Tips, first of all, that guy that's like, I believe it was brothers from what I can remember. Maybe they're really good friends, but the two gentlemen, fucking nicest people ever too. So nice. Like I absolutely love them as people, so I would definitely support the shit out of their business, like regardless. But I will tell you honestly, is the Yo-Tips were nice, like really nice with like, I did it on both. I rolled it and put it in the backwood. In the backwood, this is weird, is if you roll like a backwood, I just need to use this one. It's like if you roll a backwood like this, it's like too big. I had to break my butt off. But it's like too big for the Yo-Tips as far as weight. Like it's not that I can't fit in the mouthpiece. It's that the weight of the blunt is like too heavy. But if you rolled a small backwood, like instead of like, let's just say 7 grams or something like that, if you really did roll like an eighth or like 2 grams in a backwood, then I think the yo tips would work fine. I just think it was when I was like trying to like roll a backwood that it was like, bloop. But when I rolled my swishers, it worked perfect. And like absolutely perfect. And then same with the joints. It's like you could put a pre-roll in it and you could roll like a regular, like I'm just saying like those tips even like, or like, I don't know, the cones that people fill is like all those fit really, really nice in there. But I actually really liked it because it wasn't like cheesy and flimsy. It was like, it felt good on your lips. This sounds so weird, but it's like this little wood tip. And instead of it being like some of the thicker like wood that I've seen or like just where like there's like a plastic thing, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, this is like really thin. And when you are like, say if you were like out at a concert or like bar hopping or something and you wanted to share something with people, it actually was user awesome where you just like floop, like pull it out of your tip and then place it in their tip, and it actually just works so well. And I noticed that when Adam and all of us were using it, like the first time it went around in this circle, we're like, like what are we doing? But then it's like seriously the second, third time you like naturally start getting into it. And no, I would buy the shit out of them. If I really would. I don't know how much a box costs. That would be like the thing for me is I'd probably need a box. You'd probably need a box. I think anybody would. Like, because it's too hard to come back to. I did try to do that. I did try to be like, oh, I'll just save my tips. And it's like the yo tips aren't good. I don't think any tip, even like when I get glass blown tips or like something custom made, like all kinds of shit is like I just throw away or somebody else accidentally throws away. Like, so I don't know. You just need a box. But they're pretty awesome. Is it like a Black and Mild? No, it's like, I mean, that's what I was thinking of with that plastic kind of thing when you say that, but it's like a little bit like how Black and Mild almost has like a lip on the end of the tip. It's like this is like flush and flat and almost like a clean cut edge. So it just like it felt secure. Like it felt like you weren't gonna drop the joint and like where you could hold it in like the perfect spot instead of like kind of like feeling awkward with some of these things. It was like good. It was like, yeah. Mon Satan, I love that. Yeah, see, I just feel like it's funny though because I called them. I'm just honest about all my opinions. Okay, they probably don't appreciate this, but I called them one day and Adam, speaking of Adam, had them on the show one time it's like an April Fool's joke. It's like funny that we're talking about this actually, and so it just like went whatever. I don't know if they actually got what was happening. Maybe they did. I don't know. So I called him later and I'm like, listen, I want to work with you guys. And I remember calling it. It was just so funny. The guy I talked to was supposed to be like, a good contact and like in the business, like high up and whatever. And I remember calling it. He was just such a dick. And I remember he was just like, well, like I was just like, I'm trying to get a hold of this person and I'd like to do this for your company. Like, who do I talk to? He's like, do you have a professional portfolio? Like, I don't even know you. Like, do you have like something that you're going to actually pitch? Because they're not going to like waste their time just hearing anybody just waste their time. And he's like, I don't even know if I'm going to be working here soon. Like, and just, I don't know if I caught him on like the shittiest day ever. It sounded like that. But I literally was just like, you know what? Forget it. Fuck it. Like, you tried. Fuck it. Just keep buying their shit, I guess. But I'm envious of them because this is what pisses me off is when I worked at Way to Grow. It's like I didn't work at Way to Grow like what people think is I worked for the owner of Way to Grow and worked at the stores on like refining and redesigning their layouts and like helping their employees with like their complaints of like working in retail and like the struggles of ordering wholesale and like some of these things. And so I was trying to make displays, honestly, of like irrigation and Floraflex versus Netafim and like getting them to really promote irrigation, but making it like really user friendly and like the parts that you need, like PVC, all these different things. Stupid. But I was like thinking about it though, is like they're all friends, they're really tight with the owner and all these companies are like really tight, I feel like, with the owners of the other ones. And they're all great people, like don't get me wrong. But I think it is funny to me that like the day that like I got the Way to Grow bucket made is like people don't realize is it took like 6 months to get this bucket made because I like was so adamant on like wanting them to brand this bucket, and we had a different arrangement for each other, all these things. But I was like, do this fucking bucket. Like, I don't have to say I'm an inventor of a fucking 5 gallon bucket, but like, this is stupid that you guys don't have a 5 gallon bucket. Like, it's dumb that. Anyways, and so it came out so good, and this sounds so stupid, but I see this bucket all over Colorado now. And this is like really stupid shit that's like fulfilling though, that you're like, why, if you guys have all this money and you guys own all of the companies, right? Like, for me to go get a mold to make a 5 gallon bucket, it wasn't like, you can't patent a bucket, first of all. You can't patent measurements. You can't patent all the shit I'd want to patent. And so you can't do that. And it's 50 grand, hypothetically, to get a mold of a 5 gallon bucket custom. And you only have, then you have to go pay an attorney to get a contract because it can't be patented. Is you have to pay for a contract with your manufacturer and hope that they don't break their contract, because then you're gonna have to sue them, and that's just gonna cost more fucking money. So how much is your bucket really worth at that point? Anyways, I was just like, damn, if people really knew what you go through for making a 5 gallon fucking bucket. And so, but then I was like, if you had a whole team and a whole company this large, you guys know that you're brainstorming right now. You would be making the coolest shit ever. This is what blows my mind. I'm like, how come people aren't in these positions that need to be in these positions, you know? Or like, if they listen to their customers, I feel like they would come a long way. Instead of being like, I don't know. It's like I tell you guys all the time, but I was sponsored by Athena and Lux years ago, and now I feel like a lot of people are like Athena's like blowing up, and it's like, I think that's awesome, and I think there's a lot of pros to their line. Lux already like separated or went out of business or whatever, but I feel like it's cool. But I see some of their things, and I'm like, this is awesome. Like, this is awesome that you can get like a tissue culture set at your house. This is awesome that you can get a community or a humidity controlled. So instead of having to do the domes on here, you can just get a whole thing that goes over your clone rack. That's super nice. And I'm like, these are great things, but like, why not do it all? Like, why not? I don't know it. Sorry, guys. These are the things that just frustrate me, is that I wish we could all change. So I'm just like, you should let all of us growers go into like all of your manufacturing and contacts one day and just be like, yeah, this is what you should do. Sketch. Done. I think it would be awesome. Versus all these like guys that I don't think really like get their hands into it too often. I got an AC Infinity fan before weed was legal. I couldn't believe it just shut off. Growers need negative pressure to control smells. Yeah, that's it. That should be a podcast, honestly. I feel like Dark Horse should touch on this too, because he talks about things really classy, is and educated. But because the smell, like, it's like, I don't think people understand that, like, even like veg, this is weird, but I've had like my neighbors get pissed or think I was growing weed, is from like the smell of vegging plants, you know? And it's just like, what? But I think the negative pressure thing, positive negative pressure, I think a lot of people get lost in, when honestly, if we just like put together a little show to really simplify it, as it really is like a easy concept. But carbon filters, like fresh intake versus exhaust, like honestly, every commercial grow, I have, not every, I'm sorry, I keep saying that, but probably like 85% of them is like, they all at one point in time built their grows to have fresh air intake. And maybe this is just an obstacle specifically in Colorado, but I doubt it, is when you do fresh air intake is like in the wintertime, or when we start getting like weird seasonal shit, like really rainy days, really rainy weeks, or like snow all the time, is like the fresh air intake will either let bugs in or the cold air at night will just be too cold, so you get PM. Things like that. So they all end up like sealing them up. And the smell, like I said. But then it's weird because you see plants take a rapid decline if you do have an airtight sealed room, unless you have like this movement and exactly that positive and negative pressure dialed in, CO2. Some of these factors like start to become bigger factors, I don't know, than what you think. It's kind of like a double-edged sword, though. It's weird. J-Lo, have you used Sun On Demand yet? I do not know what Sun On Demand is. I have used a tanning bed, and that is the first thing to come to mind. Now you gotta tell me, Guerrero goes, what is that? What is that? I will check it out tonight, though. I feel like I've been like out of the loop for the last couple months because I've been trying to like be really particular about who I'm going to work with and what I'm going to promote. Because even like my LEDs and stuff, like I'm just not really like, you guys have heard me, I think, bitch about this before, but I'm not really like sold on LEDs right now. It's like, and I've ran them, like I said, for years, but I just, even with the pest and disease stuff, there's like factors that go into that in my perspective is like, unfortunately, some people do have to work with sick plants in like difficult climate environments and like have different obstacles like that. So I don't know. I'm not saying they're bad at all. It's like, I think they get the job done. I think there's a lot of pros to it as well. I don't know if I'm like sold on it yet. I really am partial to CMH, honestly. It's just crazy. But anyways, I smelled like synthetic ass. Oh my goodness. I had a buddy that smoked the mint Optimos back in the day. Shit was terrible. Ah, that was Mexican brickweed days. That's hilarious. JLo, sounds like you were going to Dairy Queen and get yourself a banana split for a blunt. Oh my God, I love banana splits. Honestly, it's funny because when I was little, I got tested like for like allergies, you know, and I ended up having the worst allergic reaction to bananas. And so my grandma used to sneak bananas for me because it was like my favorite food. And it's like weird, but like bananas became this like mischievous treat for me. And I swear, still to this day, I think I'm allergic to bananas. And I love them. Everything, and I just refuse to let it go. So, you know, a banana split sounds amazing right now. The best grape, cigarello, white owl. Operation Annihilation. We have so much in common though, because I will smoke that. It's like such a mild grape. It's not like a Swisher grape. Swisher grape or blueberry, count me out. It's like, I would hit it though. Okay, I will not deny that. I would hit it. But it's not my favorite. I won't buy it. Fazoli, that's what I like to see. Disbanded Brotherhood. I used to roll Phillies blunts, Titans in high school. Damn. Okay, so Phillies and Titans, definitely down for that too. That's different. That's different. See, you guys have listed off the good ones that I have not listed. You're right. You're right. I was trying to remember what's the ones that are like gross. They're not gross, but they are. It's like, God, they remind me of like fruit roll-ups, like actual fruit roll-ups, and like how they're like flat and like, you'd always have to like peel off the sides because they were too big if you didn't like shorten it down a little bit. But yeah, no, I'd smoke all those. I wish I could get Titans. Oh, Phillies. I feel like I'd really have to go on a mission here. It's hard sometimes to get blunt wraps in Colorado. It's really not, but if you want particular particular ones. Otherwise, they just have like grape, blueberry, gross options. Worse than that. I wish we could all be hitting this blunt right now. Might as well be. Let's see. I didn't even need money for weed back in the day. Or back then. Just used to bring zigzags, Swisher Sweets, and Phillies to school. That's hilarious. Zigzags. That is what I was looking for. I'm not a fan of the zigzag. Gonna be honest. Easiest to roll though. Think it's good for that. Big Farm. Yo, JLo, where did you learn to grow? Origin story. That's really nice, Big Farm. You asked me these good questions. Well, okay. This is like strange because my mom has never been into weed, but she was really, really into gardening and like plants when I was like a really young kid. I spent a lot of time like helping her in the garden, and this sounds so cheesy because I think we all like get influence from our moms. If you have a mom that's into plants or like a grandmother or something like that, aunts, is like, I think that she like showed us things that you would have never realized them, but like this weird like, you know, like calcium from the eggs ground up is like how she would feed the garden. And like we had goats to like mow the yard, and like this sounds weird, but then their shit would like fertilize the thing, and it was like this whole system, right? And my parents are pretty unique people. I'm gonna have them on the show sometime. because I don't, yeah, we won't even go into it, but I'd say that she got me interested in like growing. And then we moved to a town, Lyons, Colorado. And Lyons is like next to Boulder and next to Estes. Like it's like in between Estes and Boulder, like Longmont's on the other side. And I feel like it's like such a hippie town. And it was weird because this was medical only days and like this was definitely not legal, but there was like weed in everybody's backyard and it was like very just like everywhere. And my brother was growing at one point in time. He was a little bit older than me and he was like blowing out whatever. And he had like a complete, anyways. So he does all this stuff. And I remember like him bringing over the plants to our house one time. It's like he had males. It's funny. It's like it was the first time ever that I guess like he brought plants here and they were all males. And that's why my mom was like, I guess I'll take them. She's like, and he's like, I can't use these. And she's like, don't kill these plants. And so he brings over all these males and it's like a huge ass plant. It's like seriously like a 7 or 8 foot fucking male. And they put it at like the front door. Granted, we live kind of in the woods, like mountain kind of like feel vibe ish. It's like you can't like directly see this plant, but might as well. And so he brings over all this shit. And I remember like it like really being like, oh, this is fucking sweet. And like she showed me like her soil blend and like transplanted this plant from like sunshine. And he was running like a cool system, don't get me wrong. But she like really did give it like this organic, like rich in like sheep shit, like this like blend that she's used forever with like growing all kinds of plants. And I just saw this like plant, like seriously, like gorgeous. It sounds ridiculous. I know males are gorgeous, but I was young. And I think I was like 15. And so there was this guy, this is weird, but there was this guy in Lyons that Woody's his name, is he was like at the bar one day, and I wasn't like old enough to like drink or anything, but he was like at it was a pizza bar. So everybody like would hang out down there. And I was obsessed at the time with going to these mountain spots and like smoking weed. And I had to work, I had 3 other shit jobs, but like I remember I would like go to these mountain spots and get high and like have my coffee. And sometimes it'd be 3 a.m. just so I could like do it before work. I had to be to work at like 5:30. And I would like write and journal and like all this shit. So anyways, I wanted to like get all these wood carvings. Like I was like, I'm going to start cutting wood into slabs. And like, I wanted to print photos of like what I was looking at, like of like this mountain space or something. And like these little poems I was writing, it sounds so cheesy now, is like, I wanted to engrave them and like burn into the wood. And I needed somebody to cut wood. And this is like so weird, but this guy Woody was like talking at the bar about his wood. And I was like, Woody, could you please help me cut these slabs? I want to do this thing and like randomly leave them all over Colorado. And like, I think this would be cool. And so he was like, yeah. And he's like, just meet me at my house this like whatever day. And it's like in the mountains. It's actually by Scott Reach's old house in Pinewood, Colorado. It's really close. It's like 10 minutes away from Lyons. So anyways, it's just up the mountain a little bit further. So I end up going there and he's being like weird though. He's like being weird about his address. He's being weird. And I'm like, shit, like this is like the nicest guy ever, but is he gonna like kill me? He's like probably like 20 years older than me at the time. And I don't know, definitely the nicest guy you've ever met though. So like not that scared, but I'm like, this guy, he's like, follow me. He's like, don't give me, like, I'm not going to give you my address, like all this stuff. So anyways, we get there and like, it's his parents' house and like his parents are like older, like significantly older, like 70 or something. And the nicest people once again that you've ever met. And like, I'm just like super confused. And he's like, yeah, Jay, let me show you all this wood. And like, this is my art pieces. And this is like what I do. I'm like, super cool. And he's like, yeah, would you go out to the garage with me? And I want to show you my shop. And I'm like, sweet. So we go out there and he has this like badass hydro system. Like it's like crazy to me because I was young and like, this is so stupid, but not. Is like, it was so before all of this shenanigans. And he was growing with like cocoa balls, like the old volcano balls. And he had like 7-gallon pots and he had a perpetual harvest every 3 weeks. And he was using all this money. He had all this weird rules. I won't go into all this, but like he had all these things with like people he'd work with. And like, he was super picky. He was the person that sought after genetics and like who really showed me like what that meant, like, and what that was and what high-end weed was. And I remember at the time he was still selling his pounds for like 5-6 grand. a pound. And like, he was known for having some of the best weed on the mountain. And let me go back to the beginning. Sorry. Or back to, okay. So I'm walking through this shop and he's like showing me all the rooms, and it's like it's a nice setup. And he's like, Jay, would you ever, he's like, there's not a lot of people I can trust. And he's like, I trust you. And he's like, I know your family and like all this stuff. He's like, would you ever consider trading with me? He's like, would you consider, like, I need help in the grow. This gentleman, he has MS, and like that's what really changed my like perspective of even growing from the beginning, is like he was really kind, and like he was battling like with the MS at like such a young age, honestly, but like he was struggling like walking, and it was hard. Like the labor part of like growing was difficult, and like cleaning out these pots and like cleaning out the system. And he did have a recirculating system, and it was just so cool. But he like really cared about his product. And I remember even the strains, as he had AK-47, Flow, and Sour Diesel were like his like main shit. And it was just, I don't know, it definitely changed my life. It's like I got into it like pretty, I think I fell in love with it because I would watch him. Like, we weren't like huge weed smokers, this is like weird even for myself. It's like I still smoke blunts, and like, but it was like I'd smoke a blunt, like half of it, and put it out or something. And like I smoked mostly glass at the time, like take, like my pipes and stuff. And so anyways, Woody would like treat you to like, like an ounce of weed if you like really worked hard or something like that, or whatever. And like his weed did taste amazing, and like he did show me and need my help through like start to finish. And it's weird because I never like have really ran Woody's system. But he taught me so much from the beginning about like these core things that mattered. So anyways, we would walk to the car, and it would be dark, and we'd be finishing up or whatever. And he would be like, he'd need your help walking, because it was hard at night for him to like see or like catch, like balancing and things like that. And so I would watch him like hit this weed, like for reals, like Sour Diesel. I watch him like take like just like a rip of a bowl really fast, and I'd watch his like trembling stop, and like him be able to like honestly like be able to stand, and like you just see like the automatic relief of like this pain in him. And it definitely, I wanted to like, I think, fix people. It's like I really wanted to fix people when I saw him do that. And I don't know. So yeah, I still know Woody. He still lives up there. I would love to get him on the podcast. I don't know if he'd ever do that, but he was definitely like my first like real, I don't know. Sorry for the long story. Let's see. Everything but can a cigar. Did Jesus see his shadow? Oh my goodness. This is just the tip for the second show. Okay. Well, guys, what do you think? Should we call it a night? Before we call it a night, though, I need to show you, even though I can't show you, is like, the clones are perfectly happy right now. They are not wilted, except that looks awful. I swear that's not how that looks. Sorry about that. God, this camera is just gonna crush me forever. I just feel like, yeah, no, there's just no way it wants to work with me. So I'll take a proper video, I guess, is our conclusion. But I wish you could see that there is no wilts, no curving. They are not sad. I could leave them all night long, and I know they're going to be okay, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to. I'm going to put the dome back on for one more night, and then tomorrow I'm going to do the same thing one more time and leave them off. And they are going to be good to go. Do you guys have any questions? Thank you so much for listening to all of my shenanigans. Athena is overrated. Yeah, disbanded. I feel like Athena has a lot of pros, like we said, for like people that are getting like an introduction to salts. Is like you could never use Athena's EC or feed chart with any other salts. Like you could only use that with Athena, which sounds like common sense, but it's not. It's like you have to run a really high EC with Athena in comparison to any other salt mix, I think, out there. We'll go into that another day. But yeah, I think, like I said, though, forgiving for like the staff. Like if you have multiple hands on deck, if you're just trying to like get ballsy and try something and you're like, yeah, I want to use salt. But the other thing is, I think it's kind of expensive. I think it's kind of an expensive product for, running a nutrients line that is salt. If you're going to buy their bottled nutrients, that's different. But I feel like the salts are like $2.25 a tub. You need parts A and B, so $500. If you're in a commercial grow, I was at a commercial grow running Athena next to my salt mix, and Athena was really good to me. That's why I like put this company on them as well. But I think that it was like a weird cost. It's a huge cost difference. Like these reservoirs running the Athena, you would go through, let's just say realistically, 3 days. Every 3 days is like this tub, right? $500. And you're like, nah, no thank you. Oh, we're lagging out. I missed that. Damn it. Yeah. I feel like this, we were talking about how the computer is just, it's not what you guys think. It's so annoying. It's like, we have a nice computer. We have a nice situation going on. And it's like lately, it's like there's nothing that this computer is used for except for this. It has nothing stored on it. It's nothing. And like lately, we were just like, man, it's like the internet baby Jesus flipping us off for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yes. But you guys are hanging in, so thank you. Well, 22 fixed. We grew in Rockwell slabs. Carly Conrad, that's awesome. I feel like, yeah, Woody, I definitely have to grade. But after Woody, is like headquarters was in 2011 when I started working there, like commercially. I worked at a grow before that, but honestly, I can't even fucking remember the name. It's like they got closed down so fast. It's like they opened in 2009, but that's when you had caregivers and like a way different situation. And so I was helping them in a basement of a house to sum that up. But that was like after Woody. And then, yeah, headquarters was the first like real commercial thing at the time, like real, like in a commercial building. I mean, like a warehouse, period. And that was like kind of legal, whatever you want to call it. It's a gray area. And so that's the first place, though, that like they were like, no girls are allowed to do this job. And I was like, I'm going to get this fucking job and I'm going to crush you boys. And it sounds ridiculous, but I think I took all those years of like experience before and from such a young age is it kind of gave me an upper hand to actually like being able to to do good at headquarters, I think, when like the opportunity was given. And then once like I started competing and like it started working out and we kind of, I don't know. It's like I think that's when like the love for commercial versus like home growing. It's like I was like, I gotta get this scale, baby. I don't know. It's like a weird goal. But what can you do? Do you guys, I would love to hear some of your guys' journeys too with your growing. What's going on? What's going on with your guys' journeys? The next show, you guys should put some of your beginning journeys in the chat too. I would love to hear your story, or if you want to come on the show, you guys just let me know. Well, guys, I hope that you have a beautiful evening, and I hope that you have a fantastic finishing of your Easter, and I hope that next time you can actually see the plants I show you, Anyways, peace and love, and I hope you have a beautiful week. Damn it. Just doesn't want to let me close it. Just not gonna happen.